Karan and Vrund. Tahir, Karan and Vrund. Tahir is absent. Karan and Vrund. You have written the characteristics straight to me. So remember them now. Close your textbooks, everyone. Correct. Characteristics of questionnaire. Even after writing 3 times, you don't remember. So how many times should I give you so that you remember it finally? Grunth. Characteristics of questionnaire.
The questions are slowly simple, short.
I understand it. So both of you are going to sit together in the exams. Support to each other. Okay, further. Now your turn. What should be avoided? Going personal should be avoided then. So what should be prompting? Readers should get an idea about the questionnaire by reading the title. Then the questions should be relevant with the purpose of inquiry. Number of questions should be adequate, neither more nor less. If they are more, they should be divided into various parts. Tomorrow again I'll ask you. And tomorrow if you are not able to answer it, 30 times. Instead of 3 times. Because I want you people to remember it. And whenever I give you any impositions, any one of you, don't straight away copy it that many number of times, 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, whatever it is. Learn and write it so that the purpose of imposition is served. You finally remember the things what was given to you. Okay? So now yesterday we did advantages and disadvantages of questionnaire by post. So 4th bench, what is your name? Janvi. First advantage.
Large amount of information in large expense.
Less expense. Correct. So now, by questionnaire by post method, we can get large amount of information at less expense. Okay. Gaurav. Next advantage. Your present yesterday, right? So why you did not learn it? Okay. Be seated. Arushi. That we did. Large amount of information at less expense. Second advantage. No one should be talking. No discussions. Last second bench. What is your name? Sorry? Abhinav. Abhinav, tell me.
By difficulty to reach a personal or by telephone.
Yes. It is possible to reach the areas which are difficult to reach personally or through telephone. And can you tell us the third advantage? Silence, no discussions. But I don't want only 2 words, I want the full sentence. Last second bench. What is your name? This cutie one. Yes, you only. Anuj. Yes, Anuj.
It is better, it is quite simple, and it is very vast.
It is useful to get the information when the field of inquiry is very vast. Sit down, both of you. Then, disadvantages. No one's textbook should be open, okay? If I find it open, then I double the imposition. So no one's textbook should be open. Near the first disadvantage.
There is a possibility that the questions are misinterpreted.
Possibility of misinterpretation, and why the possibility of misinterpretation is there?
There is no one to tell the exact meaning of the
Correct. There is lack of assistance of any person, like an enumerator along with the questioner, so there is a possibility of misunderstanding the questions. Okay. Fourth page, what is your name? Prince. Yes, Rajkumar.
If a person is illiterate,
Hmm.
he can't give the proper address.
Correct. Second disadvantage, it is not possible to get the information if the respondents are illiterate or non-cooperative. Then, last bench, this side. What is your name? Dhyani. Third disadvantage,
The questioner can delay the question paper to give the enumerator.
okay. There is a possibility of loss or delay of questionnaire returning by the respondents due to their laziness. And last disadvantage, Parthiv, correct. The information sometimes sent by the respondent may be incomplete, incorrect, or blank questionnaire may also be returned by the respondent, right? So now, Gaurav and Arushi, you write the advantages 5 times, 3 advantages 5 times, and Parthiv and Fenny, you write the 4 disadvantages 5 times for tomorrow. Okay, and see that you learn and write it. I'll ask you again tomorrow. Okay, take out your notebooks, the textbooks. So next is questionnaire by enumerator method, right? Questionnaire by enumerator. Take a note, everyone. Page number 8. See that? First paragraph, meaning of questionnaire by enumerator. Simple. Earlier we sent the questionnaire by post. And in post, what along with the questionnaire was also sent? Letter of request and envelope where the stamp is already fixed and address is already printed. Okay. Now instead of sending the questionnaires by post, in this method we send it through an enumerator. He personally visits place to place, asks the question and he himself fills up the question. So instead of sending it by post, one person, enumerator, carries the questionnaire, he visits the respondent place to place and he only fills up the questionnaire by asking the questions. Is everyone clear with that? So it's a kind of a direct or indirect inquiry only. The only thing is, it is a kind of direct or indirect inquiry where you are taking a questionnaire along with you. Okay. In this method, enumerator themselves contact the respondents and get response to the questions. Enumerator himself fills the questionnaire. Align the two sentences. Thus, the difference between earlier method and this method is that in earlier method, the question is sent to the respondents by post, whereas in this method, the enumerators carry the questionnaire and personally meet the respondents. Here, the enumerators should be enthusiastic, polite, honest, and efficient in their work so that they can extract, means get correct answers to the questions by providing relevant and supplementary information to the respondents. And then the enumerator should be enthusiastic, polite, honest, and efficient. Okay, then only you will be able to get the information from the respondent. The enumerators are also instructed to create friendly atmosphere without entering into any controversy or showing any disrespect towards the respondent. Now, advantages first. The complete, correct, and more relevant information can be obtained from the respondents by selecting proper enumerators. And then complete, correct, and more relevant information. Because you are not sending it by post, you are sending it through an enumerator. So he will not leave any question incomplete or blank. He will ask all the questions even if the respondent is not willing to give the answer. Then indirectly, by motivating, influencing, or through some other questions, he'll try to get that information. So first of all, you'll get complete information. Secondly, you'll get correct information because you can verify that by asking extra questions. Like I said, if a person says income is 10 lakhs per annum, You can verify that by asking extra questions. Which car does he own? Where does he go for the vacations? How many times does he go for the vacations or tour in a year? By asking such questions, you can cross-check whether he is saying correct or not. So you get complete information, you get correct information. Is everyone of you clear with this? Second, enumerator can get proper information by giving proper explanation to the respondents who are illiterate or non-cooperative. So, and then proper explanation to illiterate. So, illiterate people, there was a disadvantage in by post method. They cannot read and understand the questions. Non-cooperative also. Here, by giving them extra information and by motivating them to answer, even from illiterate and non-cooperative respondents, you can try to get the answers. Any confusions? Third, in this method, there is no problem of loss of questionnaire or incomplete answers to the questions. And like no problem of loss of questionnaire. Because enumerator only collects the information. So any delay or loss of questionnaire, which was a disadvantage in post method, is not possible. The information obtained is more reliable, rather reliable and accurate. Not only that it is reliable, but it is also accurate. And unlike that, reliable and accurate. Any confusion in this? Disadvantages. First, sometimes it is quite difficult to get expert enumerators in sufficient numbers. Sometimes difficult to get enumerators. So many people to visit. An enumerator should be expert also. Like we studied in the earlier paragraph, he should be polite, he should be efficient to get the answers. So it is difficult to find such people. Second, due to large number of enumerators, the remuneration paid to enumerator increases the total cost of inquiry. So then increases the total cost. Okay, because enumerators have to be paid heavy remuneration. So the cost of inquiry increases. Third, it is very difficult task to train the untrained enumerators for the inquiry. Even after training, it is not proper to believe that they will work skillfully, honestly or efficiently. Hence, sometimes the information collected by them may not be reliable. So, unlike difficult task to train, and even after training, it's not necessary that they will get the training properly and will be efficient to collect the information. We teach in the class doesn't mean that everyone will get first rank. We are doing our job to train you for the education, for your examinations. But it doesn't mean that every one of you are equally capable of understanding it. So similarly, you train the enumerators, but it's not necessary that all become equally efficient. Okay, first thing is, it is difficult to train them. And even if you train them, it's not necessary that they'll be able to get the information. Fourth, the method becomes unsuitable when the respondents are spread over a wide area. See, if you send an enumerator to one area, let us say West Zone, all are staying in West Zone, it's possible. But if enumerator has to visit West, East, North, all the zones in the same day, it becomes very difficult. So if one respondent is in West area, one is in East area, one is in North area, for the enumerator it becomes very difficult. All the respondents in one area, then it is proper. So if they are spread over a wide area, it becomes difficult to get the information. In these circumstances, again the cost and time of inquiry increases. And then spread over wide area. And unsuitable also. The method is unsuitable if it is spread over wide area, the respondents. Enumerators have to adjust with the convenient time of respondents, or sometimes enumerators have to visit 2 to 3 times to the same respondent. You have to adjust also. You go to a respondent, he says, I am busy right now, I cannot give you the information, come after 1 hour. After 1 hour again you go, he says, still I am busy, come tomorrow. Tomorrow you go again, he says, still I am busy, come after 10 days. So many times it happens, you visit the same respondent 3-4 times, still you don't get the information. And maybe you get the information, but after 3, 4 or 5 visits. As a result, it becomes difficult to finish the inquiry within stipulated time. So, and I adjust with the convenient time of respondents. That's the disadvantage. Any confusion in that? All are clear with it? So, how to remember this now? This is questionnaire by enumerator. You can remember the advantages and disadvantages. As advantages, clear. Disadvantages, wet AC. Okay, advantages you can remember it as clear. And disadvantages, C stands for complete and correct information. Now you can only tell me the points. L stands for
Loss of questionnaire.
loss of questionnaire.
It's not a problem.
May not take place, like in post method. Here the loss of questionnaire may not take place. Okay? And what does E stand for? Explanation. Explanation can be given to whom? Which respondents particularly? Illiterate and non-cooperative respondents. Okay, you can give proper explanation to illiterate and non-cooperative. And A are both jointly stand for accurate and reliable. Are you all clear with this? Once again, C stands for complete and correct information can be obtained. L stands for loss of questionnaire may not take place because enumerator himself visits the place. E stands for explanation can be given to respondents like illiterate and non-cooperative ones. And AR stands for accurate and now wet AC. W stands for wide area it is difficult to cover in a single day. So we studied that last second disadvantage. It is difficult to reach the respondents if they are spread over wide area. Yes, expert enumerators are not easily available. Expert enumerators not available. Training is difficult. Training the enumerators is difficult job. A. Adjust as per respondent's convenience. Okay, you have to adjust as per respondent's convenience. And C stands for cost increases. Why cost increases? No, due to remuneration, high remuneration. You have to pay high remuneration to the enumerators, which increases the cost. Is everyone of you clear with this? Anyone having any doubt in it? Let us mark it in the advantages first. Yes, advantages written down clear on the right side. CLE, first point, circle the word complete correct. Left side write down C. Second point, circle the word explanation, write down E. Third point, circle the word loss, write down L. Fourth point, accurate and reliable, circle it, write down AR. Disadvantages, write down wet AC. First point, circle expert enumerators, write down E on the left side. Second point, circle cost, write down C on the left side. Third point, circle train, write down T on the left side. Fourth point, wide area, write down W on the left side. And fifth point, circle adjust and write down A on the left side. Any confusions? So we take away the practical of second chapter, tally marking questions. If after that time remains, then secondary data also will take up today, because few questions are only remaining. Are you able to do the second illustration? Yes. That workings you all are clear with it? So when do you have to make that workings? Only when class length is not given. Okay? We have to make that working only when the class length is not given. Otherwise, we are not required to make that working. Got it, everyone? So, second chapter, exercise 2 at the end. Page number is 62. I will just be showing the classes on the board. Telemarks you'll do on your own. All are clear with telemarking procedure? Raise your hand who wants me to show the telemarks still on the board. I don't mind solving it. All of you will be able to do the telemarks, but do it carefully. Because there are chances of making a mistake if you do it in hurry. Okay? Section E, question 2, page 62. Shall I discuss it? Read under. The data regarding the earnings of 50 rickshaw drivers, 40 rickshaw drivers during a certain day are as follows. So, love, what is variable and what is frequency?
Data regarding to for the rickshaw drivers.
So, what is variable here?
Earnings.
Earnings. And what is frequency?
For the rickshaw.
Number of rickshaw drivers. And then earnings marked as XI. And then rickshaw drivers marked as FI. During a certain day are as follows. Prepare a frequency distribution and then having one class as 220 to 239. 220 to 239 means is the class length 19 or 20? 20 because it is inclusive. 220 to 239 doesn't mean that the class length is 19. I said to you 0 to 4 the class length is not 4, it is 5. One extra. Because 4 is also included. Here 39 is also included, so class length is not 19, it is 20. Which is given also for the and class length 20. Now it is very simple question. One of the classes given to you. What is that? 220 to 239. Please don't answer in between. Okay, the person whom I asked should only answer it. So first of all, tell me which is the lowest observation? Yes, underline 200. Did you underline that? And highest?
356.
Yes, last row 356, last fourth observation, underline that. Now, the 200 is the lowest observation. So, one of the classes is given as 220 to 239. If 200 is the lowest observation, what would be the first class? Others will keep silence.
200 to 204.
Class length is 20. 219. 200 to 219. Is everyone clear with that? The first class lowest observation being 200 will be 200 to 219, then 220 to 239, 240 to 259, so on. And last observation is 356, right? So for 356, Riya, what will be the last class for 356? What is your name, Kirti? Kajal. What is the last class? 340 to 359. That will include 356. Is everyone clear with that? Any confusions in it? So once again, yes.
Sir, it is earnings, so it will be decimal, exclusive.
Earnings can be in decimals. A person can earn 200.5 rupees also. So it is which type of discrete? Discrete. For discrete we make inclusive.
But sir, earnings.
Achha, discrete we make exclusive. Haan, correct. Earnings can be in decimals, but when the instruction is given in the question that you take 220 to 239 as one of the classes, then you have to follow that instruction. Yes, if this instruction was not given, only class length was mentioned as 20 and we were supposed to decide on our own, then we would have taken 200 to 220, 220 to 240. Because earnings can be in decimals, it's a continuous variable. Are you clear with it? So as such it's a continuous variable, we should make exclusive classes, but when the instruction is only given in the question, that take one of the classes as 220 to 239, then you have to make inclusive classes. Is everyone clear with it? We will follow the rules only in the absence of any information. Anyone having any confusion in this slide? All are clear with it? So you can do the telemarking on your own. I am doing the main points on the board and then telemarks will do on your. First will mention lowest observation is 200. In bracket, we will write the class 200 to 219. Yes, Isha, what is the confusion? Highest observation is 356. In bracket, we will mention the class should be 340 to 359. Alright, everyone? Class length is given as 20. Therefore, continuous frequency distribution is prepared as below. First column would be earnings in bracket Excel, then tally marks, and number of rickshaw drivers in bracket FI. You take the classes starting from 200 to 219, 222, 239, 242, 259, 260 to 279, 280 to 299, 300 to 319, 320 to 339, and 340 last to 359. Any confusion in this? So note the telemarking on your own. Total 5 minutes I'll give you. In that time it should be over. Those who have done it, what are the frequencies? After what?
14.
Able to get this, everyone? Raise your hand who is still solving it. Shall I go with the next question? Anyone still solving it? Ayushi, still doing it? So same way, one more question. I'll do this classes on the board and telemarking and frequencies you'll try on your own. And then 2 such questions you'll take it homework. Look at question 3. Completed, Ayushi? Anyone else still solving it? Raise your hand. All have completed? Shall I take up with question 3? Look at it. Information on monthly water consumption in units of 50 residents of a region is as under. Last third bench, spectacles. What is your name? Zaid. What is the variable and what is the frequency? Monthly water consumption of 50 residents of a region is as under. And what is frequency? Zahir, underline water consumption and underline 50 residents. Now tell me, Zahir or Zahid? Zahir. Tell me, water consumption varies from resident to resident or resident vary from water consumption to water consumption?
Water consumption is
Vary from resident to, so water consumption is variable. And number of residents is its frequency. Did you understand this? See if anyone is not able to understand, without any hesitation ask me the doubts. Are you all clear with it? So now water consumption mark it as Xi and residence mark it as Fi. Now by taking one of the class as 25 to 30, now it is given 25 to 30. Is that an inclusive or exclusive? Exclusive. So we will make exclusive. Because the information is given that one of your classes should be 25 to 30, which is an exclusive class, we will make exclusive frequency distribution. Any confusion? Prepare exclusive continuous frequency distribution. Now what is the lowest observation? First observation is 24 and then that. Highest? 57. 57. Second row, last third observation 57. Mohit, 24. So what will be the first class? 20 to 25. And Parth 57. So what will be the last class? 55 to 60. Means you start from 20 to 25 up to 55 to 60. Be careful with the numbers ending with 0 and 5 because it is exclusive now. Where would you take 35? 35 to 40. Don't make a mistake of taking it in 30 to 35. Same way, where will you take 30? 30 to 35. Don't make a mistake of taking it in 25 to 30. So be careful with the numbers ending with 5 and 0. I think everything you must be able to do on your own. First you will mention the lowest observation, which is 24. In bracket its class will be 20 to 25. Highest observation, which is 57. So in bracket the class will be 55 to 60. Class length is 5. And then continuous distribution is prepared as below. What will be the first column? Two column. Water consumption. Monthly water consumption in bracket X. Tally marks and number of residents. Frequency. Start solving it on your own, everyone. Who all are still solving it? Others have completed? So what are the frequencies in the next question? After 2? After, is 10 occurring 2 times? No. After 10?
9, 7, 10, 5, 3, 4, 50.
Who got 10 2 times?
Nobody.
And what is after next number you got? So that's a mistake. It should be 9 and 7 instead of 10 and 6. Okay? So all are clear with this? Illustration 3 and exercise 2 section E question for next question. This was the third one you did. Next question 4 is your homework. 2 questions are in your homework. They are both similar ones. One of the classes are given. Because one of the classes are given, you can decide the first class and also the last class. Okay? As I said, we will have the time remaining, so we'll take up one more question from the first chapter. Okay? Now, next question, what we have to take, I don't have to read it from the book because there is no explanation required for it. You just have to remember the names of institutions. So directly we refer to the short form how to remember it. Okay? Raise your hand who is still solving this. Complete this first, then I take that point. Anyone still solving this, please raise your hand. Have all of you completed it? Now see, primary data, secondary data. Up till now everything we are studying about primary data. Primary data means if any institution or agency collects the data for the first and for its own use, then it is called primary data. So whatever we studied, direct inquiry, indirect inquiry, questionnaire, they all are the methods of collecting primary data. Now we come to the next part of the chapter, which is secondary data. Raise your hand, what is secondary data? What is your name, last service? Zeba, you tell me. Yes, silence. I'm asking to someone, maintain silence, don't talk in between. The data which is collected from primary data. Okay, sit down. Aaron.
When an institution or agency uses the primary data for its own purpose, is known as secondary data.
Okay, sit down. Fatima. Atifa, sorry.
Data collected by some other institution or agency, but used by some other institution or agency for the user, for the
It is
user.
called secondary data. Correct. All of three are correct, but perfect definition try to write it in exams. If the data collected by one institution or agency is used by other institution or agency, then for the user institution it is called secondary. Okay. We are going to study the sources of secondary data. Means from where can you get this secondary data? This is what we are going to study. I also told you secondary data is like copying in exams. If you prepare on your own, it is like primary data. If you copy it from somewhere, it is like secondary data. What we are going to study is the sources of secondary data. Now, secondary, second, what do you call that in Gujarati? Biju, right? First is primary is Telu, secondary is Biju. So secondary data sources you remember as BG Ranis, as if the boys have many girlfriends. BG Ranis. So you remember the secondary data sources as BG, secondary so BG Ranis. Okay. Now here BGRANIS. So as I said, all of this stands for the names of institutions. I am not going to explain it because there is no explanation. Like B stands for business publications. How can you get it from? Business publications. G stands for government publications. How can you get the data directly? You can get it from government publications. So I directly make you underline in the textbook. Look at page 9. Page number 9. Define secondary data and then sources of secondary data on that. So their sources of secondary data write down BG Ranis. Okay, now we'll go in this shortcut order only. So B stands for point number 6, next page. 6 point, next page, write down B on the left side. And align business and commerce organizations. Now see their examples. Which are the business and commerce organizations, data or publications from where you can get the secondary data? Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce. Then an industry publishes the journal Economic Trends. Institute of Chartered Accountants, who is this? Institute of Chartered Accountants publishes the journal Chartered Accountant, and Institute of Foreign Trade publishes the journal Foreign Trade Reviews. From all these journals you can get the secondary data. G stands for point number 1, government publications. Mark it as G on the left side. Directly underline the third line, example of government publications. Underline Central Statistical Organization, CS. So this abbreviation can also be asked in exams. Also underline next, National Sample Survey Organization, NSSO. And next line underline Indian Council of Agricultural Research, ICAR. These are the examples of government publications. Then R stands for fourth point. Fourth point on the left side, write down R, underline research organizations. And then ATIRA, Ahmedabad Textiles Industry Research Association. PRL, Physical Research Association, and many more are given. So these are the examples of research organizations from where you can get the data. Then A stands for fifth point, underline autonomous educational institutions. Mark it as A on the left side. Then N stands on the next page for the last point. Newspapers and periodicals. Mark it as N on the left side. In examples in second line, underline Economic and Political Weekly, EPW. Then underline Business Today, Financial Express. These are the examples of newspapers and periodicals. Then I stands for third point, international publications. On the left side, mark it as I. And then UNO, United Nations Organization, IMF, International Monetary Fund, ILO, International Labour Organization. And S stands for point number 2, semi-government publications. And then Life Insurance Corporation, State Electricity Board. These are the examples of semi-government publications. Understood that? Any confusions?
No.
So only one answer is remaining now, that is precautions of using secondary data. That we will finish tomorrow, and Saturday you will have the test of first chapter. Okay? What do you have to do in the homework tomorrow? Exercise 2 section E input, and from chapter 1 you have to write MCQs in the notebook. I don't want you to write the whole set of 4 options. No question you have to write with the answer. Fine. And I'll be asking you MCQs in the class without the options. Okay, able to understand it? I will be asking you MCQs in the class in the beginning, but without the options. Means I'll ask you the question and I'll not give you the option. You have to directly tell me the answers. See, this is just one interactive method to remember the MCQs. MCQs look very simple, but in exams when you try to answer them, you find all the options are correct. So that is the biggest problem with MCQs, which is the most scoring becomes the most non-scoring in exams. And if we simply read the 10 MCQs, answers are given on the last page. We read them directly, mark the answers, you will not remember it. So therefore I want you that in every chapter MCQs, you will be doing it in the homework notebook. MCQs and its question and the final answer you will write in the homework notebook. And in the class what I will be doing is I will be asking you the question without the options. You will directly tell me the answer. Is everyone affected with that? So that will be all for today. Bye everyone.